On August 13th, 2007, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration revised the general industry regulations for electrical safety. How do these new rules affect your organization? Would you be compliant if OSHA stopped by your work site for an inspection? More importantly, are you offering your employees the best possible protection? In this first training module, we'll discuss the dangers of arc flash and provide proactive steps you can take to protect employees. Did you know that an arc flash can produce temperatures of up to 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit? That's hotter than the surface of the sun. Fatal burns from arc flash can affect people up to 10 feet away. And arc flash happens more than you probably realize. In a typical year, over 30,000 arc flashes occur, causing about 7,000 burn injuries a year. Here are a few other sobering statistics on electrical burns. The average stay in a hospital after an arc flash exposure is 19 days, at a cost of over $18,000 per day. It's not unusual to accumulate hospital bills of $500,000, $700,000, or even costs exceeding $1 million. If you're a business owner, just think what that does to your workers' comp premiums. And what about the employee? If they survive the arc flash, they usually face additional surgeries, possible infection, extended medical care, disability, and reduced lifespan. The bottom line? Quality of life for that employee has been severely diminished. And for the employer, property damage, a stratospheric increase in workers' comp costs, OSHA fines and citations, the list goes on, and none of it is positive. In this training module, we'll discuss OSHA's latest reference of NFPA 70E standards and your responsibilities when working on energized circuits. We'll also discuss the most frequently cited OSHA violations in the electrical standards. You'll see firsthand what a violation looks like so you can instantly spot problems and get them corrected before somebody gets hurt. Ready to get started? Just click the Start button to begin the presentation. It's not a secret. Electricity can be dangerous. And when things go wrong, lives can be at stake. Did you know that an exposure of 203 degrees Fahrenheit for just 1/10 of a second is enough to cause a third-degree burn? A third-degree burn that would cause an extended stay at a hospital, multiple surgeries, and a serious hit to your quality of life. As a reference point, about 300 lives are lost each year in the workplace from contact with electricity. That's more than one work-related death each working day. Even if the employee doesn't die as a result of their injuries, the recuperation period can be long, painful, and expensive. Don't become a statistic. In this module, we'll discuss proactive ways you can protect yourself and your fellow workers. In OSHA's latest standard, the requirements for ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, has been broadened to more closely resemble OSHA's construction standard. You might be surprised at some of the changes, so be sure to pay special attention. Ready to get started? Just click the Start button to begin the presentation. On February 8, 2008, a sugar refinery in Savannah, Georgia was leveled due to volatile dust. The result? Millions of dollars in property damage, loss of business for the plant, dozens of employees hospitalized from the burns, and the most sobering, the loss of life for 13 people. Unfortunately, this example happens much too frequently. Volatile dust, fibers, gases, and vapors instantly ignite with a flip of a switch or a startup of a machine. The results are almost always fatal. Perhaps most alarming about these incidents is that the employer and the employees fail to understand the volatile environment they're working in. These hazardous locations are typically misunderstood, poorly maintained, and often overlooked. In this training module, we'll discuss the 3 classes, 6 divisions, and 7 groups of hazardous locations. You'll learn about OSHA's latest views on the zone classification used internationally, as well as the various types of equipment allowable in hazardous locations. Ready to get started? Just click the Start button to begin the presentation. Here's a quick question. What's the greatest hazard when working with electricity? If you answered electrocution, you'd actually be incorrect. Surprisingly, you're more likely to be burned than electrocuted, and here's how it happens. An employee is working on a piece of equipment. As he reaches with a tool in hand, the tool accidentally touches an energized component, setting off a violent explosion or arc flash. In a flash, heat temperatures of up to 35,000 degrees are reached. Molten metals explode outward, becoming deadly shrapnel, and a blast from the explosion hits you in the chest, all within a split second. Instantly, the line clears and the fire disappears, except on your clothing. The cotton shirt that you're wearing catches fire. Soon that fire spreads to your back, and each second that passes results in more serious burns to a greater percentage of your body. You survived the blast, but you won't survive the burns from your clothes being on fire. Unfortunately, this scenario is repeated over 2,000 times a year, resulting in hundreds of deaths and thousands of serious, life-threatening injuries. We'll discuss the various types of flame-resistant clothing, insulative gloves, safety helmets, protective footwear, and other forms of PPE. You'll also find out what it takes to be considered a competent person by OSHA and how the training must be documented. By completing this module, you'll learn how to save lives, maybe even your own. Ready to get started? Just click the Start button to begin the presentation.